Hello, I'm Claire Louise Hay from BeHealing.com, using tarot to help you do the inner work, heal yourself and create the life that you truly want to live. This is today's tarot. It's for all signs and it's for Sunday the 11th of May 2025. I hope you're doing well. Let's get some cards out. See what's in the energies for everybody today. Keeps on coming out, this card, the beauty of age. Something about our wisdom and tackling life from a different perspective now. Now it could be, I think there's going to be more of a leadership role for older people, as it should be. I think we've been, as a society, Western societies, incorrectly putting younger people up on, on some kind of a pedestal, when younger people, no shade on them, but wisdom comes with age. Now, not that there can't be wise younger people, but those wise younger people are going to be so much wiser when they're older. It's just that way. Life is that way. We live and we learn so much more. And so I think older people are going to be lifted up, in our new society. We've got solitude here and intuition. So I've been banging on about this a lot lately. In our downtime, in our solitude, in those retreats, our intuition comes through. We get access. Solitude leads to our nervous system being calm and our brains being a more cohesive, and a heart and a brain alignment in a more cohesive state. We get access to source energy, to the field of potentiality, to all that is. And solutions, inspiration, intuition comes from that. We get more tuned in. It's just true. It's just true. So with the beauty of age today, it feels less of a more personal thing, more of a, we need to value. It's like we've got to value the feminine more now within ourselves. Feminine traits, feminine way of being. We also need to value age and wisdom too. We've got determination and opportunity. So an opportunity coming up. Yeah, I talked on that yesterday. We had an opportunity yesterday for a collaboration or something like that. And there could be a doubling down on the energy of bringing through your wisdom within that. So in other words, if you're going into a collaboration, old you might have backed down and allowed yourself to be led by someone else, and might be prioritizing the youth or a masculine energy, quietening down and letting them lead. How we've done that, we've learned to do that. No, you might be like, no, I know best about this, and so I'm going to be more outspoken about that and take the lead and put my point forward and defend that, and put it out there, or fight for that. It could be that kind of, it doesn't feel like a fight, but it feels more like a standing up for this. Cards came out straight away. We've got judgment. So we feel called, feeling a strong pull to do something. The judgment card, it's like the universe saying, okay, you're meant to be doing this together. You're both aligned with each other. You help each other out. You've got this part of it. You've got that part of it. You come together and you do this now. And a part of that calling is we need to own our part in it. It's not about, the universe doesn't say, oh, you're more important than that person, but you need to go into that and then be subservient to them. That's not what it's about. We're moving into an age where we're going to be equals now. And yes, leadership is going to be a role in that. We need a role. It is a role, but it's not more important. I remember back in my corporate days, working in IT in my 20s, it never seemed to make sense, right, that the managers would get paid more, because this is how it worked out. Everyone would start off on the same level. You'd learn all about programming and stuff like that and development in IT, and but the ones that were not so good at that would get promoted because they weren't that good in these jobs, and then they'd out earn the people that were really good at that. And that was just weird, right? It was just weird, because it was like, why are like the people earning more when they're worse at their job, and so they get promoted into that position, which is just a completely different role, right? It's just a completely different role. They're not promoted because they're good at management. They're promoted because they're bad at the other stuff. Do you know what I mean? It might well be that they're good at management, but it just seemed odd, right? It seemed odd, that hierarchical thing. That's what it is. It seems it's odd, isn't it? It's just weird. It's just weird that the top of a corporation, kind of a person, a corporation that's harming people in the environment, can have so much money when it's just a role, and it shouldn't be rewarded in that kind of a way, right? So as we move into more equal thing, there is going to be leadership roles, yeah, but they're not the top of the pyramid, they're not. The leadership role is not that, it's just a different role. So coming together as equals, we're having to own our part in that. The Empress, and Empress is about that too, the divine feminine. So again, this energy of owning your value, your wisdom and your stance on things, and being outspoken about that. The Eight of Swords, and freeing yourself from some binds that you thought you were in before. Another thing I learned in corporate, and it seems tied in with this too, was how to deal with men's ego. I was working in IT, and it was the 80s, 90s. And so, yeah, I had to learn how to deal with the male ego, which means that I couldn't teach them something. I couldn't tell them something. I had to put something in front of them and make it seem like they'd found it themselves, and then go, oh wow, you're so amazing. And then they'd be like, and then they would do it. It was very difficult. And it was kind of, I didn't like having to work around people like that. I didn't like having to do that. It felt very incongruous to myself. So, judgment. Anyway, judgment. This calling here, being called to do something, and it requires big change in your life. So it's going to require big change in your life and make big change in your life too. So this is big energy, judgment and death. Whatever's coming up in your life now is going to create big changes. It's going to require you to work in a different kind of a way. It might not be a work thing, but it probably is for a lot of us. But approach things from a different way. You cannot go back to your old self with those kind of things that I was talking about, having to diminish yourself, having to work around it, having to deal with people's egos. Not that. Coming in as equals and owning that, owning your value and your way of doing it. Not that you're going to push it on them and take control in that kind of a way, but make sure that you equals in the collaboration and not dimming yourself down anymore. That's what it feels like to me, and it's going to create big change in your life as well. What's behind that is movement into balance, more egalitarian, more equal. I'm telling you, I'm a life path number 1, which means I'm a leader, and I know that I'm a leader of leaders within the spiritual kind of a space. But it's more than that. I'm Taurus, I'm grounded as well. You've probably seen that about me. I want this to be useful in real life, not up in the clouds. I'm not that kind of a channel or where it's all just up there kind of stuff. I want it to be useful in real life. And so, yes, I lead leaders. And so you're going to be the first people really living this, really living these new ways of being, these new ways of collaborations, these new ways of doing business, these new ways of living in our communities. Empress, so knowing your worth. The Empress, she has self-esteem. She knows her value. She's creating her empire. She's giving birth to she's giving birth to the new earth. I've only just noticed that about this card. She's giving birth to the new earth, no less. Important job. Now, I've just noticed something else about this card. You see the dots that are coming from the moon there, and they're going down, it goes around the moon, and it goes down, and it goes around into a spiral in the belly there. The moon energies, those intuitions. Okay, feminine. What I was just saying about leadership then, and before, that leadership will just be a role, but it's an important role to have. And who should be in that role? The one that's in tune. The one that's in tune and has that intuition. Feminine. I think feminine and masculine are going to be equal leadership, but there is a specific thing that feminine need to own. And that is that deeper connection with the intuition. And so it could be you're stepping more into the leadership, which means more speaking up and owning that. It's like, if we get intuition that something would be a better approach, not quieting down and allowing the logical, the person that's more in the masculine energy to take the lead in that, not doing that. That's what we used to do, right? We don't do that, we speak up. You know, it's important that we do it in this way. Clarity, says the Queen of Voices. And Queen of Voices is about having boundaries about that too, and standing strong in that, and saying, no, it really is better if we do it in this way. Trust me, I've got the intuition on this and it's right. And intuition is very important, because that is saying, look, I'm bringing in the moon energies, the sun energies, our guides. I'm bringing in the energies of the whole universe in this, which is way more powerful than just doing it from our heads. Not that the masculine part of it, whoever's in that more masculine role, in that could be a man or a woman, but using their intellect, you know, so back in the IT world, you know, using our intellect to do the coding and all of that kind of thing, to do the technology stuff, that's the mind stuff. And it has its place, of course, it's important too. But that is not the same mind that does the management, right? That makes the decisions. And I think we're seeing that like in the political world as well. It's like you've got to be in tune with empathy and with, you've got to be in tune and aligned and inspired to be a good leader and to be thinking of everyone, you know, and to be good for everybody, right? We haven't had that. We haven't had that at all. So the Empress and the Queen of Voices, new beginnings is behind that. Totally different way of doing things. And so, yes, this could be, how do I want to put this? I was going to say emotionally wearing, but I don't mean that. This could take more of your energy than you think. Having to be consciously aware of how you're approaching it and not falling into old ways to start something new. This could be more exhausting than, of course, life is when we're on autopilot, when we already know what it is that we're doing and we're in just, you know, this is the way things are done and we can be on autopilot. When we're doing something new and having to be very conscious of ourselves to not fall into old ways and to do new things, it's going to take so much more of our energy. And so, you know, we've been having all that guidance about retreat energy and we've got it coming up today too. Just know it's going to take more of your energy, so you're not going to be able to do as much. You're not going to be able to be on as much. You're not going to be able to work as many hours in it. You're not going to be able to, you have to do that balancing stuff. You're going to have to prioritize your retreat time in that. And so 8 of Swords, breaking out of confines here, of some kind of a trap that you were in before. And the trap could have been, I love this reading, because it's like you're actually getting out of these old energies now. This is creating the new earth. So 8 of Swords, getting ourselves out of those traps of going along with the old paradigm, going along with the way that people did it before, freeing ourselves from those traps. Oh, the Lovers. You know, this feels like a work situation to me, but this and this balance feels like the foundations of healthy relationships, no matter what kind of relationships that we've got. Not the masculine and feminine, not man and woman relationships, although it could be. This is dealing with anyone and being balanced within your masculine and feminine energies and inviting them into that same space to be in balance with the masculine and feminine energies, and that new flow between that, you know, and doing things in a different way. And but that might look like things like you're in a meeting and it's like, this isn't going the way, this isn't going right, we all need to go home now and just chill or go for a walk or and meditate, and then let's come back at this tomorrow once we are ready. And not even within our old business paradigm, coming back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. No. Let's come back when we're ready. And you know what's going to happen if we allow ourselves to do that? Is we're all going to sync up. I'm getting goosebumps now. We're all going to sync up. We're all going to be ready at the same time. It's going to be telepathy. We're all going to be ready at the same time and working like that. We need to be the leaders and start doing that now. Cool. I love it. So the Lovers, it paves the way for healthy relationships, romantic relationships too. But it feels like we're doing it with other kind of relationships. You know what this... Oh, I'm getting so much here. This is beyond traditional jobs and roles. You're not going to have a job. You're going to have many. This would have been too much for us to handle in the old paradigm. What do? Well, I do readings. I help this team out. I've got a collaboration going on there. I do this thing too. So it's like you could have 10 things going on at once. You cannot do that the old way. That would be too much. But I tell you what, it's not too much if you're doing it in the flow. And if it's like, well, but most of the time I'm meditating and I'm in retreat. And then I feel this pull, oh, that collaboration, or to create this thing, and then what do you know, that person that you're collaborating with, they're switched onto it at the same time as well. Is this flow of just, it looks like a neural network energetically to me. I'm seeing it like pinging off, you've seen the way that brains work and that imagery of those neural networks. It's us working together like that. That's what we're headed towards. So let's start doing it now. Ooh, abundance is behind that too. Wow. We're going to be able to get so much more done, and we're going to have so much more downtime. Can you feel that? Ooh, I love it. Breaking ourselves free from the confines, Eight of Swords. Those beliefs that we've had, this is the work that we've been doing internally, meditating, breaking free of all those structures. It's like of money and of the governments and of all those confines that it's just been a given. We've just accepted it as being, that's the world. But it's not the world, you see. The world is just the planet. And we can live whatever way we want. Creating a new earth. Masculine and feminine energies, which we've already been talking about, really. Nine of Swords, the anxiety, the nervous system state, the frenetic, paced, puts us on edge. So dealing with our nervous system. Six of Pentacles, reciprocation. Now, you're going to be with leaders in this too. You're going to be drawn together, our tribes. Of course, you're not going to try and collaborate with people that aren't this energy and then you be the leader of them. That'll be a struggle. That's like my example usually is like, you don't want to be a butcher and try and sell meat to vegans. That is just too much trouble, right? You should be with your people, connecting with your people that are in this too. So leaders coming together, leaders in this. Not leader as in role, but the front runners in this, the ones of us that are going to be living this kind of a flow first. Six of Pentacles, reciprocal people, it feels like coming our way. Oh yeah, you don't want to be trying to bring this into a workplace that is not of that mind at all, that is in the old paradigm. That's just, that's a cross you don't need to carry. Ace of Wands, and it's a very exciting new start. Can you imagine? Wonderful, really wonderful. I've already kind of set myself up for this in my business. It's a little bit more regimented, but I do try and run it in this way of being inspired. I don't have a rigid schedule. Sometimes I do have to schedule things. But with the gym that I help out, very much on my own time with that. I can do it when I want to do it. And that freedom, that base of freedom, we've got to free ourselves to be able to live in this kind of a way, not with any rigid schedules going on. So the Nine of Swords, dealing with our nervous system, of course, so important for our voices. So you got to rest up. We've got to rest more. We cannot go in. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps again. We cannot carry on in the on, go, 9 till 5 or whatever hours that you do. We cannot. That is just so jarring to our nervous system. It's human beings. Could you imagine doing it to an animal? Come on, Flossy Cat, wake up. Do you know what I mean? You should be working now. Come on. It's just so jarring, It is. We have to honor our nervous systems now. And letting go and slowing down. Slow but steady and letting go. And so allowing ourselves to get into this new way of being, right, and getting used to it and integrating it bit by bit, little by little. We'll get more and more used to it. That's the way it is, right? And so it's not like, it's like gradually getting ourselves there. Because when if you were to do it like completely balanced, if you were to jump straight there, you're going to feel really lazy, right? And then you've got all of that to deal with, all of the, you know, your subconscious mind. But if you do it gradually, just like a little bit more rest, a little bit more meditation, a little bit more retreat, you know, if you do that, you're going to get used to it more and integrate it more. In fact, you know, and then perhaps realize, in fact, I'll need a little bit more. This is working so well for me. I'll do it even more. And when I get inspired, the stuff that I'm producing, when I do get in that masculine mode, is much better than when I don't. So I could use it a little more meditation, a little bit more downtime. So do allow yourself to let go slowly and steadily and get into that, not all at once. Six of Pentacles, and I'm just getting like reciprocal people coming here. The Devil and the Page of Voices. I don't like this energy. Okay, so reciprocal people are coming in, and then there's these onlookers. You know how it makes people angry when you're happy? People that aren't happy get angry when they see people happy. People that aren't abundant get angry at people that are abundant. People that are terrorizing themselves by working 9 to 5 are not going to be happy when they're looking at us living in this way. People that have no freedom are angry at people that are free. It's that energy. So people, Page of Voices, watching you do this, there's going to be backlash. There's going to be, backlash. So what do we do then? We protect ourselves, right? Energetic bubbles around ourselves. Boundaries. Boundaries can look like, you don't tell me what to do, when someone's projecting their fears and their restrictions onto you. Well, I'm living in the new paradigm. I've lived in your paradigm too long, 54 years. Don't want to do it anymore. Thank you very much. It can look like that, the boundaries, you know, speaking out on it. But just know that there's going to be a backlash, of course. Divine timing is behind that. And so trust that. So it's not a wrongness. You're not attracting that backlash to you. You may be planting seeds. The universe might be trusting you to say the right thing to that person at the time. It plants a seed in their mind, and it might be, I don't know, 3 years down the line, I'm hearing that as right. In the next 3 years, it might take for people the more reluctant people to get in line with this, but it's divine timing. So sometimes this happens. Sometimes we are trusted by our guides in the universe, in our intuition, that they put those struggling people in our way that want to attack us, and then we say the right thing to them, and it might not have an immediate effect, but it's planted a seed within them, and they'll remember it perhaps in 3 years' time, and they go, okay, I'll do it this new way if I must be balanced and happy. Right? Ace of Wands. It's amazing how we can fight for our own restrictions, isn't it, as human beings? It's amazing how we do that. It's so counterintuitive to fight for our restrictions, but we do. Ace of Wands. So, exciting new start. So you might be getting so excited about this, as I am, and my reading's getting so long now because of it. 10 of Voices. It's the end of the pain. It's the end of the pain. It's like, oh, these pain points, I haven't liked that about life on earth, and I've just kind of been putting up with it, and my nervous system has been taking the hit of it, and I've had to do yoga and meditation to try and counteract that. But this is like realizing, oh, what a relief. I can turn that around and put my yoga and meditation first, and then the rest of the life flows from that with the creativity, and we live in harmony with ourselves and being the true spiritual beings that we are, connected with the earth and with each other and working as one. Sounds perfect, doesn't it? The end of the pain, ancient wisdom is behind that. Back to the beauty of age. Okay, so back to, we've even got purple at the start and at the end here. So back to those spiritual ways, the beauty of age. So the more mature, no matter how age you are, what age you are. Because we do have younger people now that have got this very mature, wise, and like I said, just watch them, if you're still around, in 50 years' time. Whoa! You see nothing in what we've got, right? The wise ones. leading the way. It's about time, right? Because we've really had the unwise ones, haven't we? We've got the people that have been shouting the loudest, the ones that know the least, and the ones that have like the least empathy. We've been really had the wrong people being rewarded for what? For what kind of a job? I don't know. Really? Anyway, let's get some more out. Ooh, I like this. Throne, a position of authority. There's that leadership, you know, and it feels like the earth, the spirits, the universe, your higher self, the guides will be like lifting the true leaders up there now, position of authority. Don't be surprised if you end up as a position of authority. Dagger, fear, worries, tense situations. A younger woman, that again, she came up yesterday. Frying pan, trouble and accusation. So backlash. And then we've got this hand shake. Meeting with a stranger could be important. Could be bringing in your new tribe. Could be bringing in new collaborations. We'll get drawn to each other. Everyone that's wanting to live in this way and work in this way. We're going to attract each other now and have these things going on. Like I said, you might have like 10 jobs, but they're not really jobs. Whale, great worry over nothing. Beautiful whale energy there as well. Like the animals, you know, they come together, they all know when to migrate and stuff like that. We will too. We'll be living in that way too, much more in tune with ourselves. But it doesn't mean we regress back to being cavemen and women again. No, we do it with the technology, with all of the onwards and upwards. We are evolving to even more than we've been before, and hopefully avoiding what we got wrong in previous times, like Atlantis and the Murray and all of those kind of things, because we're now realizing, right, that history isn't as short as we thought it was, that we have evolved in similar ways before and then destroyed ourselves. And I think we've got these energies now stepping in and going, don't destroy yourself again, humans, and your planet. Learn from what has gone and then change it and evolve through it on this planet instead of wiping yourselves out again. How best to deal with these energies today? Well, we have the Page of Wands. It's exciting news. It's good news. It's good news, this. And not good news as in you pick up the phone and someone gives you good news. Good news as in the excitement of this paradigm shift. This is good news, isn't it? It's good news on a bigger level. There we go. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to click like before you click off down there. Click that subscribe button if you're new. Leave me a comment as well. What are you getting out of this? Do you feel like you're a leader? That wisdom, you know, isn't it a strange thing? I know my guides have said, like, when you were born back then to live all of that kind of thing, like the world was such a different place. I was born in 1971. Such a different place then. And to live through all of those things, so you got the wisdom now, so you can be part of this change, that you've got more information of how not to be, you know, and kind of understanding the start where the unsustainability started, and having to, you know, live through all of those things to really know the issues that we've got to deal with now, and, you know, the results of that, which is the beauty of age. That's where it comes out to. It's like some of us chose to gain this wisdom through living it, and some of us, the younger generation, the wise younger generation, are coming in with wisdom, and they're going to take it even higher, right? Well, there we go. Stop waffling now. Sign up for my free course there on my website. There's a link to it there. Meditate with me there. Have the best day ever, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.